You are now tuned in to The Fix Show.
Yeah, man, another Wednesday right here on the DSN Networks, DaMatrix Studios. Trase, I'm in the building.
Yo, what's up, man? It's Prez here.
It's your boy Chase Sims, you know.
This is a Fix Show exclusive.
This is a Fix Show exclusive today. You know what I'm saying? We got one of the most impactful men in the music business in the building today, but we're going to introduce him in a second.
Heavy figure.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we got to go around the table, see how the team is doing. You know, Prez, what's up, man? How's your week?
Yo, so far, so good. Everything's smooth, man. You know, we got a couple of new placements in some of these shows. Y'all be sure to check out Netflix. Listen to your commercials, you know what I mean? Because the songs is heavy. Shout out Vino, shout out the whole team, shout out Waves. I got Airbnbs, by the way, too. So go get you one. Go stay at. We in Atlanta. You know what I mean. So go stay out. When you go out there, just check the link in the bio. You know what I'm saying. We said he's gonna put it all in the stuff. But
Right,
yeah, man,
right.
we here, man.
Right.
I went to an event last night though. I wanted to shout that event out. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, man.
It feels good. It was a great event. Shout out to Java Jam, talented artist. I mean, I was just so surprised in the abundance of talent that was in a small room like that. I mean, everything from guitarists, pianists, I mean, the drummers, the singers. There was a Japanese singer that got up there. It was an amazing spot. Shout out to host Nori. I mean, my first time there, my first time going. I just happened to pull up off of a whim, just being out on a Tuesday night. And yeah, man, it was a great space. So shout out all of the musicians that I would suggest that a lot of musicians just tap into spaces like that, man. Free vibes, free energy. You know, we need that. Everybody's so stuck in what I feel like is, I gotta just rap and I gotta be in a certain sound. Man, you go there, the spirit of the energy is just open. So yeah, I wanted to shout them out. Shout out Java Jam, and yeah, man, I'm here.
All right, Chase Sims, how's your week, man?
Sims.
My week was cool, you know.
What's up, kid?
You know, I went to an event with you yesterday. Don't forget.
Right. I'm just saying your week.
All
How's
right,
your
well,
week?
And everybody don't know about your event.
Right,
Y'all went to
right,
y'all
right,
private
right.
ass event, man.
I
Can
was
I get
gonna
an invite?
I was gonna let him introduce it, but yeah,
Damn.
yesterday we was at Republic
You
Records.
just jabbed me first time. I'm
right,
gonna
you're
take
right,
care of that.
right.
That's
Don't
both
even
of y'all.
answer that.
That was
I'm
at
answering
him
that.
too.
No, I'm answering that.
We shouted out
leave
the
it,
Fix
leave
Show.
it, leave
We
it.
shouted
I'm
out the
answering
Fix
it.
Show.
I'm answering
All
it.
right,
Leave it.
cool.
Go ahead. Go do it.
So yeah, so yesterday we was at Republic Records, you know, graph listening session. Appreciate Trase. We had Black Bottle Boys, Bel Air was sponsor. You know how that go. You know what I'm saying? A good couple of journalists, media, everybody was in the building. Couple things coming up. You know, I got the holiday party, the Union DJs holiday party is next Tuesday,
Union time.
December 10th. I'm one of the hosts for that event. Make sure y'all come pop out, check that out. Again, my event space, House of Gold BK. Please check that out. And my birthday party. You know what I'm saying? December 26th, Capricorn season. Let's go.
Right.
Bring a gift for my man too, man.
Right.
Bring a little gift for
Right,
my
bring me a
man.
gift.
Right.
A plate of food,
Matter
too.
of fact,
Nah.
not even the gifts. I'm going to say this here on the air, and we're going to post it so I don't have to say it at the venue.
Okay.
Stop being cheap and buy the man a drink for his birthday in the club.
Right.
Y'all done smoked 36,000 hookahs around here for free. Ain't paid for no goddamn refills. Y'all don't pay for no bottles. Get the man a shot. Get the man a couple drinks, some wings, some fries, something.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, man.
Stop the freeloading
Look,
stuff.
man, support is free, man. I don't need
I'ma
y'all
say
money.
what I'ma
man.
say.
I don't need y'all money.
Yeah, I'm going to say it, okay? I'll be the villain, like always, okay? But, Trase, you know I'm here, Black Bottle Boys. A lot of things coming up this Saturday. I'm back on the road with Graph as we head to the Locks tour. Shout out to the Locks for adding Graph, and shout out to Graph for adding me. You know what I'm saying? This is our second city with the Locks. So shout out to the Locks on their 30th anniversary.
Heavy.
Like Chase Sims said, you know, just to add to it, I hosted, moderated, and sponsored a listening session for Graph yesterday. He showed a lot of brand new visuals that are not out yet.
One dropped last night.
Yeah, one dropped last night.
Today, yeah.
And
They dope.
we got a chance to listen to the entire album. You know, a lot of dope media people, a lot of dope supporters were in the building. So shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to Republic Records as well too. What else is coming up, man? Oh, I just got the info today. January 10th, I'm back on Sirius XM Fly, Channel 50.
heavy.
Shout out to S-Dot. Shout out to everybody who tuned in to me on Friday, this past Friday on Hot 97. Appreciate y'all, man. It's my first Friday ever. I usually do Sundays.
Killed that one,
You know what
too.
I'm saying? Enough. Thank you. Shout out to Enough. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
Feel me?
set.
Yeah.
Trace working.
Yeah, we here, man. And what else? We got a lot of things coming up, man. A lot of things coming up. I really can't talk about these deals that are about to happen, but 2025 is gonna be something different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? The last thing is December 19th, Knicks Omni fan viewing party. Okay, we're gonna post a flyer up tomorrow. All right, hosted, DJ'd by me, music by me, hosted by me. Shout to Snaps, shout to Knicks Omni fan. You know, if you come to those viewing parties, you got to be a real Knicks fan. You can't be half-assed with it. You know what I'm saying? All right, you gotta come dressed up appropriately. You feel me? And you gotta come with that energy. You know. So shout out to the ladies, Jen and Jazz, Knicks Omni fan. And yeah, man. That's really about it.
All right, so we
Yeah.
can get into the poll, right? Okay,
Right. Let's get into the poll.
Let's get that out the way. 'Cause
Let's
I know
get
you
into the
itching
poll.
to
Let me
into
get
it.
off this live.
This guy
So
fiending.
we could let's get this over with.
Okay.
So let me just start and then you finish, okay? Because I know what you're gonna say.
What I'm gonna
All right?
say.
All right. I know
'Cause
what
I
you're gonna
said
say.
it to you too many times.
I know what you're gonna say.
Can you give the people a little from last week? They
okay.
don't know?
So shout out to Lil D. We had him on the show
Yes, we
last
did.
week.
Yes, we did.
And we asked the question: which is or was the best hot dog spot in New York City?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And these were the options. The options were, let me look at the poll: Papaya hot dog and Papaya hot dog, Nathan hot dogs, or Fulton hot dog king. Chase Sims, he's from Brooklyn. He was biased. He
Biased?
chose hot dog king from Brooklyn.
Facts.
Okay,
All day.
but the polls, me and Prez said papayas for a lot of different reasons. But the polls, ladies and gentlemen, the polls say 50%, 57% of the followers on Instagram chose papaya hot dogs, 6% chose Nathan's, and 37% chose hot dog king.
And that's only because of whoever voted for Nathan.
It don't matter about what
they
the
messed
only
up.
because
They
it
messed up
is
my
Chase.
voting.
Stop it,
They
Chase.
messed up my voting.
Chase.
Wait a second.
Chase, let
it
the
was an
polls speak
opinion.
for itself.
No, it was an opinion. We had the argument here. We had
We
our
left it to the
opinion.
people.
We left it to the people. The people chose papaya hot dogs.
So we leaving it.
And that's it. That's just what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna clap it up on that and we'll leave it. We ain't gotta drag it. We ain't gotta drag it.
I'm gonna leave that shit
We
alone.
ain't gotta drag it. We ain't gotta drag it.
Papayas won. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
That's
Shout out to Papayas, baby.
They ain't win.
Who is
Just-
still around.
Y'all just not eating
Who is
food.
still around. Is your spot still around?
That's different.
No.
That's a different.
It don't matter.
No,
it's
it
not
does
around.
matter. That's different.
It's not around.
That's disrespectful.
It's not
Let
around.
me tell you why
That's
that's
it.
disrespectful.
It's not around.
It's different because Papaya is
we're
a
not gonna get
franchise,
into it.
right? It has a whole bunch of locations, et cetera, et cetera. The Fulton hot dog spot been there for over decades, and it's one standing location
Okay.
that's very popular.
We
And
appreciate
then
your
rent
opinion.
increased. Hold on, rent increased, which rent increased for everybody in New York City. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to your profit, you're trying to maintain a business. You don't want to increase your price and lose out on your customers that you've been loyal to this whole time.
Thank
That's
you
if
for
y'all
the
know
business
Thank
insight.
you.
We on
That's what
Wall Street.
We need to have
You know
that.
what I'm
We need
saying?
to have
Thank you
that.
for the Wall
We
Street
need to
business
have that.
insight.
What up, D?
We appreciate that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You damn sure need it.
But right now, we got to introduce our guest right
Let's do
now,
it.
man. I think it's time. Right now in the building,
Heavy.
okay? And hopefully I'm right about this. Representing Brooklyn.
Facts.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Representing Brooklyn.
Heavy.
He is one of the most impactful, connectful, if that's a word, that's our word now. Connectful, impactful, one of the big dogs in this music industry. BDM CEO Smitty. He's here, man. Let's clap it up one time, man.
Sup,
In the
sup,
building.
sup,
Let's
man.
clap it up,
Big
man.
BDM.
We're gonna let these claps go for a second.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what
Give
I'm
us
saying?
flowers, man.
Maybe
Give us
real quick, can you
flowers,
just
man.
introduce yourself to the people real quick for us?
Smitty, you know what I'm saying, repping Brooklyn, Flatbush, BDM. You know, I got Nasia Bella with me. I got Black J with me.
Right,
You know, just representing New York Smitty, you know.
right.
Smitty, did you ever try Fulton Hot Dog King?
Yeah, I have.
And then you tried Papaya?
Yeah.
And then you tried Nathan's.
Yeah.
Which of the 3 you choose?
I ain't gonna lie. I like papaya.
There we go.
I ain't gonna lie.
You're Brooklyn.
Hold
man.
on.
he's done.
Hold on.
He an OG too.
That's the
Conversation
spot. That's the
over.
spot across from West 4th Park.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with that.
Absolutely. That's why I said
Conversation
that.
They
over.
know.
Conversation
Papaya.
over.
Yeah,
Conversation
yeah.
over.
Come on. Around the corner. That line around the corner. Ain't it
Yeah,
at
yeah,
4
yeah,
o'clock in the morning?
Conversation over.
Yeah,
Conversation over.
Yeah, we good.
I choose papaya. I ain't gonna lie.
Conversation over.
All right, yeah, we good.
That's it.
We good. We good.
I'm
We
gonna
good.
move that
Fulton, Brooklyn. You know what it is.
It's love.
That's it.
It's love.
Hey,
but yeah.
Conversation over.
Yo,
But I
shook your
must
hand.
say, I've never even heard about that Fulton Brooklyn spot.
Damn, yo, he gonna make it worse.
You know what I'm saying?
He gonna make it worse
Right.
for Jason.
Right, kicking you while you down.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
You've
Yo,
been
it's
downtown
crazy.
Brooklyn, right?
Of course.
Right. So he
When
been,
he see the spot,
Where
he probably
is
gonna
it?
know it. When he see
Exactly.
Conversation
Exactly.
over.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are we
I
still
know.
doing?
No, that's the difference because I didn't even know the name of the spot. You feel
I
me?
got you now. I got you.
I knew
got
what
you.
it looked like.
I got you. I
You
got
got
you.
60 seconds, man.
I ain't a big
Nah, he
hot
Conversation
dog.
over.
Yeah,
man.
nah, it's done. We done. He just
That's
want to
it.
show
I'm
him
gonna
up.
show
But,
you low key.
That's it,
Yeah, y'all
man.
can continue.
Yeah, we got. Now we
Okay,
got.
so-
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So we got Smitty here, man.
Heavy.
This man, I'm not even gonna lie. I gotta say this on air, man. This man has even, lent a helping hand towards me in my career here and there throughout the years. You know what I'm
You
saying?
a hard worker, Trase. I always say that.
One of the few.
never seen that spot?
Oh yeah, I seen that on the corner.
corner.
My
Yeah,
homies
yeah.
be in front of there. They used to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
their thing in front of that spot. Yeah,
tell-
yeah. Oh no, that's an infamous spot
Thank
too. Though I ain't
you,
gonna
thank
lie.
you. Give me-
If they-
That
if he-
spot
if
right
he know
there
that
is pretty
spot for
good.
doing more,
But I forgot about it. It's
stretching.
the
He's
open.
stretching.
Just close this shit.
No, no.
No, leave him.
If
He's
he
stretching.
know the
No,
spot,
leave
if
him.
he know the spot for his people's being outside
leave
front,
him.
not for hot dogs, then come on.
Yeah. Nah. That spot's on point too. I ain't gonna lie.
I got
A
you.
good burnt hot dog there. Yeah,
right.
right. It's down the
Right.
block from
Castle-
Macy's.
right.
Yeah. No.
Infamous.
Are we
No,
done with this
alright.
shit?
You
That's
know
an
that
infamous
shit?
spot.
Are we done with
Yeah.
this shit?
Okay, you
Are
got
we
it.
done with this
We
shit?
done. We got
It
it.
don't change what the polls say.
It
That's
doesn't
that.
change what the polls
we-
say.
we-
That's a
Okay,
fact.
moving on from
We
this
ain't gotta argue about that
goddamn
no more.
conversation. All right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smitty is in the building.
Yes,
like
he
I
is.
said, he's helped me throughout my career, and I'm just throwing in some insight on our relationship.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying? This is one man who's hit me up like, yo, I see you working, man. I'm gonna see what I can do for you.
Facts,
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? I ain't have to call no favors in, but he say if I need a favor, I call him.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? He done helped this show in the past when we was on a different network, brought some guests up.
Facts.
You know, so Smitty, I just gotta say thank you on the air,
salute,
man. You know what I'm
salute,
saying? Thank
salute.
you.
Love
He
is
done
love.
came to the hood, Lower East Side, checked me
Facts,
out.
facts,
You know what I'm saying? I done
facts.
blessed him with some
For
kicks,
you wins,
all that.
yeah.
I'm with a different company now, so I gotta give you another pair.
Aviva, I'm in tune.
Avia, yeah. You know what I'm
Avia,
saying? So
okay. I'm in tune.
I
I'm
gotta
watching.
pay it for you.
I'm
you know what I'm
watching.
saying? You
Yeah.
gotta come
Oh,
to the hood.
salute.
I gotta pay it for you.
I pull
you know
up.
what I'm saying?
Salute.
Yeah.
I want to say definitely. I came across Smitty when I was working with some artists a few years ago. Real quick, just background. He reminded me of a story that I tell about Superstar J all the time.
Shout out to Superstar J.
A lot of people, shout out to Superstar J, Big Queens. A lot of people don't really tell these type of stories, but I had approached Smitty in a message, and he gave me his number, offer it. I gave him a call on the phone, and as I'm speaking to him, he asked me certain questions that I didn't really have the answer to at the time. Boy told me, when you get your shit together, basically, long story short, hit me back and we could talk. And in the moments like that, you know, people take it and they be like personal about it. They be on some, yo, what's up? Like, and even like I said with Superstar J back in the day, he gave me some similar advice in that moment. You know, you feel like, yo, what's up? Like, why you? But not me. And for me, I take. Because if I'm approaching you, if I'm calling you, that means I admire what you do. I'm looking to get into connections on how to be something similar or in the spaces that you involved in. So I'm not going to take your time when you tell me, hey, listen, this ain't where I need to be right now. I'm already right here. I need you to meet me here if we want to do something. So with that being said, I want to tell you, I got my shit together after that. You know what I'm saying? You got to start approaching people with different spaces. You got to start recognizing who you coming across and how you need to approach them, what you need to have in place. So I want to thank you for that type of, you know, just not just being, you know, a super asshole about it, but still not just saying, oh, yo, we could work, we could do whatever. Because again, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you got to be in a certain space. So I appreciate you, you know, making, you got to get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? So from there, you know what I mean? We've been in contacts, different situations that come across. So yeah, man, big shout out to BDM, man.
Salute.
And you do a lot of hard work out here with these artists too, man.
Salute,
So yeah, salute to that.
Appreciate that, man.
man.
Appreciate
So
that.
Smith, like one thing I'm seeing a lot
Yeah.
is everybody saying talk is cheap,
Yeah.
right? So why is talk is cheap to you?
I mean, talk is cheap because, you know, a lot of people just, you know, have mouths and just want to talk. So I've never been a dude to, you know, talk to talk. I'm always straight up, get to the point. You know, I've never been the type to play games, beat around the bush. You know, I probably get that from my dad. My dad was like a drill sergeant. You know, he lets you know what it is off top. So, you know, I've always been straight up. So I really don't, when people come talking just to talk, I'll be like, talk is cheap. Like he said, no disrespect. You know, I tell people all the time, they call my phone, Smitty, this and that. Yo, you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
So how do you navigate that? Like when those people that are bullshitting, or you don't know that they bullshitting, or how do you identify that they are bullshitting immediately?
I mean, because you could tell just looking at an artist if they, you know, serious about their craft.
Right.
Just on the quality of, you know, work they putting out, the videos they putting out, you know, the music they putting out, where it's at, you know what I'm saying, the different platforms they've been to.
Right.
So I could tell if you serious about your craft or if you a SoundCloud rapper.
Right.
And how do you decipher if who you decide to work with outside of that? Because I come across artists a lot, and sometimes it might be financials. There might be a talent that's super dope, but just don't have the right means. Maybe those crappy videos, they haven't gotten around a videographer that they even know that, or who they can get to that can shoot better videos for them. Like, do you go in those spaces, or are you not in those spaces of, I would say, artist development, you know, type of vibe? Are you kind of past that, those spaces with artists?
I mean, I don't want to say I'm past that because, you know, that's where I started off at. But, you know, at this point, I deal with artists that are on a certain level. You know, before I used to deal with any artists, you know what I'm saying, just get their buzz up. But now I deal with artists that's more refined, polished, you know. I deal with those type of artists now.
So let's take it back, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get started in this industry?
How did I get started? To tell you the truth, I never, you know, was an industry dude or anything how people say industry. I was never that. I was always, you know, a respected guy in my community, Flatbush, you know, the 40s, 50s, 90s, all over. You know, I always been respected. You know, I played football.
Okay.
So, you know, I went to University of Connecticut. So I always had, you know, I've always been a leader, I'd say. You know, I always been a leader amongst my friends. And, you know, I just used to mob out. Back in the days, you know, I used to be mobbing. Anywhere I go, I'd be 30, 40 deep going to the clubs. And, you know, I would meet these artists from out of state. And then, you know, they see I was a cool dude and I was about my business. And then they just started, you know, saying, you come to New York, you know, checking with Smitty. You know, so it just ran with it. And I just took it and ran with it.
Gotcha.
Nice, man. It's good to hear, you know, some inside facts about Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Salute.
Well, I guess the question that I have to ask, and this has to do with social media, when people look at your page, of course they're gonna be like, yo, this dude is he owns a label, or something gotta be happening out there, because you always around the top dogs.
Yeah, fact.
I don't even see you around no middlemen. I don't see you around no people who are just getting started. None of that. Like, you just around the big dogs always. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really connected. So where does that part of your, I guess I got to say your career, right? Where does that part of your career start? Like, when did you start gaining these connections and these relationships with all these people within the industry? Who was your first connection?
My first connect, I'd say it go way back, you know. Probably Fred the Godson, you know. I met Fred. I went to a club. I was 30 deep. He was 30 deep. I'm like, I'm from Brooklyn. He was like, I'm from the Bronx. And, you know, we just clicked up and we started going out. He like, yo, Big Brooklyn, where you at? Pull up on me. I pull up on my crew. He have his crew. And then, you know, it started branching off like that with the music stuff. Then I was dealing with a couple of dudes from my neighborhood that was rapping, and at the time, you know, I was doing events. I brought Lloyd Banks to my neighborhood to perform when he had that song Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. So I brought him right to CPAC, less than a mile away from my house. So, you know, people started seeing, like, you know, this dude making some money. You know, I was getting money out there. I was in the streets a little, you know, and I was investing my money. I was always business minded. You know, I got a college degree. I got 3 college degrees.
Right.
You know, I got a business degree from UConn. So I always been, you know, about my money and thinking about ways to, you know, just advance it. And I think at the time I met Beanie Sigel in Philly. My boy got drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he went to the club. He's like, yo, I'm with Jay-Z. I'm with Beanie Sigel. I'm like, word? So the next weekend I was in Philly, and me and Beanie Sigel, you know, that was his prime back then. You know, he took a liking to me, and he was like, anywhere I go, pull up. And, you know, just being with Beanie Sigel, and, you know, meeting all these other rappers, you know, so off top, when they meet me, they give me that respect, you know, because they like, hold up, how this dude moving with Beanie Sigel? You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of rappers would want my number because they want to get in contact with Beans. Right. So they'd be like, yo, Smitty, you know, they can't get with him. They'd hit me because they know I'm close to him. Right. So, you know, him, I say Red Cafe, you know.
Shout to Cafe,
yeah.
man.
Red Cafe definitely put me in position. You know, Jada Kiss, you know, a whole bunch of people, you know.
Yeah,
even with the people that you met and that you connected with, like, it still comes a piece and a part where you connected the dots. Yeah. Right? So did you learn that from somebody? Was there some type of influence, or did somebody show you this is a lane?
Nah, I always just been a natural hustler. Like when I brought Lloyd Banks to my neighborhood, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just knew, like, you know, you get 20,000, you put it up, you get the club, you do this, you get a DJ. I didn't know you had to get a promoter. I didn't know you had to do all that. So I took a L. But that L was the biggest W in my life because it brought awareness to what I was doing in my movement.
Wait, you really did that?
What?
That was not the Lloyd Banks one, right? The L?
What?
The L you took when you that was that one?
Yeah, I took an L.
I heard this story before. Yeah. I just didn't know it was okay.
Nah, that was me. I brought Lloyd Banks to CPAC, man. I put up like 30,000 cash.
I heard about this a long time ago. Yeah.
And I lost it. I made probably like $1,000 that night. Right. I lost it all. You know what I'm saying? My crew came out, but it was heavy because, you know, people that wasn't there, word of mouth was like, yo, who brought G-Unit to Flatbush? Right. And, you know, everyone wanted to know who I was, you know. And then, you know, the artists that was rapping started saying, like, you know, push my music, do that. And at the time, I hit up Mr. C. I'll never forget.
Rest in peace, Mr. C.
Rest in peace to Mr. C. You know, he put me on the Cypher Sounds. I knew DJ Magic at the time. You know, that was my brother from around the way. And then these artists saw that, you know, I was breaking bread with them and I had an influence, and they were shouting me out on the radio at the time. So they came to me like, yo, Smitty, yo, I give you $1,000, you get my song played, da-da-da. So I'm like, what? And then I thought to myself, so I hit one of my boys. I'm like, yo, I'll give you $500 to get this. And then, you know, it just started, you know, I'm a hustler. So I turned one into two.
So can we say that, is it safe to say or fair to say that you was one of the first influencers before the word influencer was a thing?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it's definitely safe to say that because, you know, it's a big difference between real life and Instagram. You know, if you're from Brooklyn, if you're from Flatbush, you know,
Crown Heights.
You know, my name, you know, people know me. You know, I'm outside for real. So,
So would you say that some of the most, well, with your first L that you would say you took, but the W that was behind it wasn't financial. It was the win you actually took was the continuing and then building that network of people that was around you, people that believed in you.
Oh yeah, when I look back to that was definitely a win. I lost a lot of money that night, but it was definitely a win. It put me in position, you know, it had people looking at me a certain way and giving me that respect without even meeting me or talking to me. So when they met me, it was already set up, like, you know, he about his business, he on some bullshit.
You feel like that goes across the board with other things? I tell artists that all the time. I tell artists, like, sometimes you got to spend and not expect money back, not expect a monetary value back at all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got to invest in your craft. Right. Like, no matter what you do, you got to invest in your craft. You know what I'm saying?
But that return might not always be green.
You got to be in it for the long run.
Right.
You know, like I tell people, only the strong survive, you know. It ain't a race. You know, it's a lot of people that I was grinding with, you know, coming up that ain't around no more. But they still watching me grind, you know. So it ain't a race. You got to just keep going. Every day, just keep going. Keep staying on your grind. You can't win today's ball game with yesterday's home run. So every day I wake up early, I'm trying to win. Every day I wake up. You know what I'm saying? So
now that's a different mindset to have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You got to. You know, like I tell my daughter, if you don't think like that, you know, you're going to be paying someone else to think for you.
Right.
So, you know, I learned that at an early age. You know, my dad always told me you either make it happen or you watch it happen. And I ain't never been the type to watch nothing.
Right.
Besides my daughter.
Right.
So,
yeah. So what was some, like, challenges you faced during the time of, you know, coming up in this industry?
Dealing with these artists.
You know, the good deals, bad deals, etc.?
I mean, nothing bad, just the regular bullshit. They late, or at the time I invested in some artists that might have got locked up, stop rapping, or so I stopped doing that part of it, like managing artists. I just became a business, like I gained a lot of links and resources by managing different artists. So now, I'm like a one-stop shop. You come to me, you want something done, that's it, go home after that.
Right.
It started being a headache to, manage and do that. That's when I got into my
Personal.
business mind frame of it. And, I turned this into a business.
Right. Right. So what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment within the music industry?
I mean, I got a few, my biggest accomplishment. I mean,
It's like you've been doing this for a while.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Give me one.
I mean, my biggest
Ups
accomplishment.
and downs, I'm sure.
Yeah, my biggest accomplishment would probably be, seeing other artists from the bottom that had no buzz at all now in a position to win, making money, get into that bag. I dealt with a couple artists that's multi-millionaires now that I met them when they didn't have a dime in their pocket.
Right.
And they came with me and we built it from the ground up. So I've never been a bandwagon dude. I've always been like a visionary.
Right.
I see the vision and I run with it.
Right.
So yeah.
Right, that's dope, man. I mean, I see it all the time. I see your influence on social media. I see your influence in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess the next thing to ask is, what would be the difference between Smith from the block and Smith from the music industry? Is there a difference?
Both hustling.
I mean, we both hustlers. I don't think there'd be a difference. I would say, anyone knows, like, before I go be doing an event or anything, I'm about my business. I don't really want to talk about anything else. I'm focused. Once that's done, I'm the most laid back, cool, bust jokes, down to earth guy. But before that happened, we got to take care of business first. I'm definitely, business first.
Do you have to like the artist that you work with?
Nah, if the bag right, it's about that money. Ain't no emotions when it comes to that money. So,
I'm talking as far as their music itself. Nah.
If it depends. At this point where I'm at now, I don't promote or attach my name to any artist that, I feel is worth it, or because, I feel that could mess up my brand right now because people looking at me a certain way. So any artist that I do push or promote, I believe in them. Mm-hmm. Or they got that crazy bag. So it got to be one of the two. So
if they trash and they give you $1 million, you rocking with them?
My daughter got to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Business is business.
Yeah, business is business. At the end of the day, that's what I do. I connect the dots. I'm not here to critique your music. Only God could judge you. I'm here to get that bag, put you in a position to win, and you take it from there. There's been artists that I thought has been trash that has gone on to do big things. So
because your opinion is just your opinion.
Exactly.
And again, they got somebody out there that likes it, that fucks with it.
Exactly.
And the bag can actually promote that if you do it right with the people that you have in your resources and your connections.
Yeah. So I'm not here to critique the music. I'm just here to put them in a position to win.
What is Smitty's listening to right now? What's in his playlist? R&B, hip hop?
What I'm listening to, definitely I got King Streets in there, the homie.
Shout out King, man. Big rock.
I got 38 Special. I got Juice the Mac, OT the Real.
Shout out to OT, man.
I got Benny the Butcher, definitely Jada Kiss. I'm definitely rocking when I'm in the mood. I'm listening to that Nasia Bella. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nasia Bella. She an artist you need to check for. She in the building with me too.
Heavy.
That's the future,
Right.
I always feel like, you always got to be a step ahead. Mm-hmm. So, an artist like Nasia Bella, she's the future. She putting in work now. She like 13, 14, 15, and, 4 or 5 years from now, she keep going. It's only constant elevation. You destined for greatness. Once you keep doing what you need to do. So,
nice.
Well, let's see if right before the end of the show we can get some bars or something.
Oh, definitely.
Something.
Oh, yeah.
Little something out here. You know what I'm saying? Little something.
She be ready. She always ready. When she pull up with me, she always ready.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Oh, that's Nasia Bella.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. So, I just thought of this right now. So, when the Verzuz, let's talk about Verzuz for a second. when the Verzuz was happening with Dipset and the Locks.
I was there.
I was gonna ask you, where were you? Because I know you tight with Jada. So where were you?
I was on the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was your what was going through your mind? Like before the event started, was you like these dudes gonna smack these dudes? Like
I mean,
song for song, like did you think it was gonna be like a straight win for the Locks?
Yeah. I'm rolling with the Locks. You know,
Right.
I always been. You know, I knew that I was gonna be definitely. I was rolling with the Locks. I thought it'd be closer. I didn't think they weren't prepared. You know, I think Dipset came there and wasn't prepared for the battle, and the Locks came well prepared. You going into war, you got to be prepared. You know,
I just think that when it comes to that battle, a lot of people thought wrong about the situation. When they first saw like the flyer or whatever on social media, they automatically gave it to Dipset.
Yeah, facts.
Because of the chains and their style and their wardrobe. And I'm like, this is not America's Next Top Model. This is song for song, album for album, word for word. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So from jump, I love Dipset. I still play Dipset to this day in all my sets. But when it comes to catalog, these guys been doing it for so long. Mixtapes, albums, solo albums,
performance
features,
had a lot to do with that as well.
Remixes. I mean, you can't. I don't think there's any weak link in that that squad.
Shout out to
at
the
all.
Locks. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So when I saw that, I was just like, "There's no way anybody's gonna win against the Locks."
Nah, definitely.
Catalog for catalog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Them
But how
boys
was the energy in there for you? Like,
yo, the energy was crazy. Cause before we went there, I got a few drinks in me. And I went in there. Shout out to Joe Aviani. You know, I don't know if he out free Joe Aviani. I went in there with him and I think OT the Real. Me and him went up in there, and it was great. It was a nice vibe. You know?
Did you ever think it was gonna be a fight?
Yeah.
Between camps?
Yeah. But then
you was ready? You was ready to throw blows?
But then at the end of the day, they professionals. At the end of the day. Right. Kiss, Styles, Sheik, they professionals, especially Kiss. Right. People like he a professional at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, I just want to get your insight on that because I know you close with him. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I want to go back a little bit with your management. Working with artists, managing them specifically, personable to your management. Now that you have the setup that you have, is this more label based? Is this more management, like you said, packages, or what is it now that artists can reach out to Smitty for and say, hey, we know that we just went through, you basically connect dots, but as an artist, I'm coming up, I want to reach out to Smitty. Does he have a label? I know he does things. What could I expect when I reach out to Smitty, or what should I be reaching out for?
I mean, if you are an artist that's, serious about your craft, first and foremost, you got decent music, you on your grind match my grind, and you invest in yourself, then we can have a conversation. It's never no Hollywood stuff. Like, every day I got artists reaching out to me. Every day I got minimum 20, 30 artists in my DM. Especially if like yesterday I was on Power 105.1 last night. So this morning when I wake up, I got like 100 DMs, So, a lot of dudes, first of all, you got to introduce yourself. Like, peace, Smitty, this is, such and such from.
I always say that.
Yo, dudes, first of all, when you just send me a link to your music.
You getting deleted.
And all of that, and you in my hidden messages, I'm pretending I ain't even seeing it. I'm deleting it.
Right, delete.
Off top.
Right.
Off top. You gotta, as a man, you coming to me as a man, you don't know me from a hole in the wall.
Now tell me who you are, where you from.
You gotta introduce yourself, and you know what I'm saying, and if I'm feeling the vibe and energy, then we go from there.
Yeah, because sometimes the way they introduce
that's everything.
Get them a response.
Yes, that's everything.
You ain't gotta like the music. You ain't gotta click the link.
That's everything. It's how you deal with people.
Are you looking to sign artists, or is this just a management type of, like, again, packages type of thing? Like,
it's crazy you said that. Because I'm thinking about launching a label.
Okay.
I got all the pieces of the puzzle in place, so. Resources and everything. Because some people call me a label right now the way I be moving. So. I'm thinking Start my own label.
I think that would look for you. From you coming from already working with artists personally, you know what that's already like. So now you start a label and you signing these artists, and you go on and again you invest your time. It goes back to that energy you have to put in outside of where you're putting it in now, where it can go across the board kind of freely. You know, you get an artist, unless you obviously get an A&R or you get a somebody that's going to manage them specifically, but that'll be your responsibility, like more or less day to day with these artists. You prepared for that kind of vibe, or is that something you look forward to?
I got a small team, you know, people that I would put in position to do certain stuff, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black J. You know, he's a guy that, you know, he got his ear to the streets, and, you know, good brother of mine, and he always be like, yo, Smitty, this artist, you know, that artist, you know, it got to come from a reputable source for me to even want to, you know, listen or, you know, take it there. And as far as me signing the artist, you got to put that work in. I got to personally be watching you put that grind in. You know, some artists that, you know, that just be grinding hard body, you know, just waiting for their day, you know. Shout out D Chambers, you know, I don't know why, but shout out D Chambers. He an artist, you know, him, Nick Guns, Hard Luck, Hattie Racks, you know.
Shout out to Hattie Racks, man.
You know, those are artists, you know, that been grinding for years, you know, and I feel like they ain't get they just due. So I would, you know, if I start a label, I would probably reach out to one of those type of artists first, because I feel like, you know, with my financial backing and my resources, I could probably put them in a position to win. Right. So, you know, that's something that I've been thinking of, you know, because, you know, everyone know I'm the plug. I bring them on the radio. I do this and that. But, you know, it's time to, you know, sometimes take it to the next level. So that's where I'm at with it right now. Right.
Let's go a different direction. You know what I'm saying, with the interview. You've been around the music industry for a very long time. You have a background in the streets. You have a background in the industry. You've seen a lot. You've been around a lot. Recently, a lot of people get to see you on Power 105. You know, they get to see you on a lot of different platforms. How do you? I guess this is a multi-layered question. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel podcasts and different outlets have helped or hindered artists in the industry nowadays?
That's a good question.
Because, you know, the reason why I asked you that, just so you can know where I'm coming from, you could be a street dude. Yeah. You can have all these codes. Yeah. You get on these platforms, you start talking, those codes is out the door.
Facts.
So now you contradicting what you stand for.
Facts.
But you're trying to follow what the industry stand for. So this is why I'm asking you, because you have the best of both worlds.
I would say, you know,
take your time, man.
You gotta hold. What's the gist of the question again? Give me that again. You said what's the difference?
No, I didn't say what the difference is. I asked you, how do you feel that these platforms now, whether it's radio or podcast, has it hindered or helped artists in the industry? Which one do you think?
I think it definitely helped. You know, podcasts is like I tell everyone, you know, like these are the platforms you need to utilize to get yourself out there. Because half the battle, if you being an artist, you need awareness. That's why people come to me. You know, I get them to buzz. You know, I take them from high school to the league. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You need awareness. You know, you could be Joe Schmo right now. You go on $1 million worth of game. They throw you up now. You got 50,000 followers. You got dudes hitting you up. You know what I'm saying? So I think podcasts and radio is definitely something that will help an artist that's on his grind, you know?
How about if you're a street artist? How about if you're an artist from the street and you follow all these street codes and you go on these platforms and you start saying things that really don't abide by those street rules?
You got to keep it G. You got to live what you talk about, you know? That's why the motto's talk is cheap. A lot of dudes talk that talk and don't really live it, you know what I'm saying? And every day I see them and I just laugh because at the end of the day, I real recognize real. At the end of the day, a lot of dudes, if you on the gram fronting and doing all of that, like, nah, knock it off. You know, the toughest guy, a real gangster take care of his family first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? The biggest gangsters, the killers I know, they taking care of their family. All that other stuff, yeah, you gotta take care of your family. Yeah.
So what was it like back in the days, like, you know, moving around with the artists and on that come up? What was that experience like?
No, I'm good. I loved it, man. Back in the days, that was the days, man. Like I said, we used to be mobbing. We used to come through like 30, 40 deep everywhere in the city. You know, so, you know, I started being known around the city as, you know, when I come through, I'm coming through with the team. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all love because I'm a guy, you know, I always moved. I'm a man of God, so I always moved with positive vibes, you know, good energy. I never had no beef, never had no drama. You know, but one thing about me, I stay with them gangsters, you know. They know, like, promoters used to call me, yo, Smitty, you coming through, like, yo, don't come too deep. And, you know, because I always been a dude to, you know, lend a helping hand, you know. People around my community, they don't got it, I'm pulling up. Yo, here, hold that down. You know, you don't got food in your fridge, I'm going to come pick you up. We go in a supermarket. You know, I did real shit in my community where people... You know, you say my name the wrong way, they tear your head off. You know what I'm saying? My man, mom's dying in the hospital from cancer. I'm pulling up. You know what I'm saying? My man, he crying on my shoulder. You know, real shit. You know, people say they your man, but when it come down to it, what are you doing to, you know, what is a real friend doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I only got like three, 4 friends because everyone will say they're your friend, but when you need them, you know, who can you call on? So,
real shit.
Right. Some gems, man. Some gems for the viewers out there.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Young people out there, hope y'all tuned in and listening.
And the older people out there, the aunts, the grandpas, all that.
Facts.
You got to be tuned in.
Yeah.
You got to be tuned in, man.
Yeah,
Facts.
Man. We're really happy that you took time to be on the platform, man.
Definitely.
You're a very important person in this industry,
Appreciate
man.
it.
And you know, I know you have your hands in a lot of different situations. What's some of the things that we could see coming up in the new year for Smitty, man?
I mean, like I said,
can we get some exclusive information in here,
2025, you know, I'm having some talks with a couple important people that, you know, might get behind me, and I'm really thinking about that label. Because I feel like I conquered, you know, the lane that I'm in, and I always want more. So I think 2025, I'm going to start a label, you know, and take it to the next level. You know, I want to get an artist, you know, you never know. Sky's the limit. Right. Get a platinum artist, you know, get a couple millies, you know, stuff like that.
What you think is missing in this era of record labels that you could bring to the table that they're not?
Realness. You know, realness and, you know, still being, you know, you still tied to the streets. You still know what's going on, you know, because a lot of people, you know, still could reach me, still could, you know, I might be with Gilly, Wallow, Kiss, whoever, and then 10 minutes later, I'm on the block with my cousin, you know, or I'm uptown with my man chilling. So, you know, you need realness. You know, people love the fact they could, you know, call me up and I'm there. I'm pulling up on the block. Right. Like yesterday, I just left the radio station. I'm driving home. I see my peoples on the block. I hop out. They're like, yo, Smitty, we just heard you on the radio. Ah. You know, that's what keep me going. You know, that type of love. You know what I'm saying? That's realness. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of these record labels, you know, it's just, you know, people at the top punching buttons and don't really know what's going on the concrete. So I feel like me still being in tune to the concrete and knowing what's going on in the streets, you know, that's what's giving me longevity and that's what's keeping me flowing, you know. Because at the end of the day, it's word of mouth for what I do, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Do you feel like, I'm sorry, Trase. Trase is actually about the platforms and stuff like that. From when you started, there was no platforms. There was no platform when you met Beanie, when you met Red Cafe back then. Yeah. You got into the space where there are platforms and you got these spaces. I know you asked if you feel like it's hinders or whatever, but in the managerial space, for a record label space, do you still feel like that street team type kind of vibe is needed, or do you feel like the marketing on these platforms is enough for artists?
Street team is always needed. You know, people could be on these platforms. The platforms is definitely big. You want the awareness, but like I said, word of mouth is everything.
Touching the people, really.
Touching the people.
Guerrilla marketing.
Nothing like touching the people. You know, touching the people know who you are. Like, it's cool to be on these platforms, but to have, like, you know, regular people knowing about you, like, that's priceless right there.
Right.
I feel like you need that.
So let's get a gem real quick, right? So I seen a lot on your Instagram about branding and expanding, right? So when it comes to like artists giving you a record, right, messing with you, like what's some keys you look into or platforms you look into to really push that record that you think the audience will really receive it?
You mean what platforms I would put the record on? You know, every platform. You know, every platform. Like I tell artists, social media is your best free marketing tool. You should have Twitter. You should have Twitch. You should have Facebook. You should have everything. TikTok, all of that. You know, you should be using all of those. Like, you know.
Okay. Okay.
You want to jump into the game real quick?
Yeah. Let's
We usually do it with artists.
We can do it with
Smitty.
Smitty. Okay, so we got a game.
Yeah.
It's called You Featuring Who.
Chase don't
So
gotta answer
today,
right
I never do.
today is You Featuring Who. Today, if Smitty was a rapper.
Yeah.
No, let's keep him where he at.
No,
He is a rapper. I heard a song about 5 years ago.
Let's open up the imaginary talks. You know what I'm saying? This could be fun.
All right.
If you was a rapper today,
Yeah.
Smitty featuring who on a hip hop track?
Damn, if I was a rapper today, it depends. You know, if I'm doing a hardcore
Gotta be
song,
quick, Smitty, on this one.
All
Come
right,
on,
yeah,
let's go.
It's off the
I'm
rip.
going with King Streets or 38 Special if I'm doing that.
All right, say that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give
Okay.
Chase some time because he ain't never got one.
Nah, I'm good.
You got one?
I'm good.
All right, go ahead.
Fuck it, let's try. All right, so let's say there's an artist today, right?
Yeah.
In whatever era
Yeah.
that popped already.
Yeah.
They already popped. Which artist would you pick that you would have managed and pushed them to become who they are today?
Shit, that's an easy
So
question.
Smitty managing who?
Jay-Z.
There you go.
Shit, Jay-Z.
And why? Let me hear why.
Come on, that's
I mean,
Hove. You know what I'm saying?
God.
Hove is like the only rapper that I think I've been around, and when I met him, I'm like, yo, you that dude. You know what I'm saying?
cannot
Matter of
do
fact, my last picture on my gram now
I
is
just
a
saw it.
picture with me and Jay-Z.
Yeah, the Ace of
like,
Spades.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was a night I'll never forget, you know, partying with Jay-Z and, you know, dude saying like, he like, yo, you look like me. You know what I'm saying? Like Beyonce in the room, like, you
That
know.
gotta be crazy.
Yeah,
That'd be Brooklyn.
that was crazy, man. You know, those type of memories last forever. But yeah, definitely Jay-Z. Who else would you want to manage? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, who I'm gonna say?
That's
Right,
a
right,
fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, Prez.
All right, let's keep it with your managerial at.
Yeah.
Let's go with labels. We could be a label from now, a label from the past. It's
Yeah.
Smitty, BDM, featuring who?
Rockefeller.
Ooh.
Yeah, come
come
on,
on,
Rockefeller. Like, who else?
So hold on. So
You know what I'm
even
saying?
with you knowing now the trials and tribulations they went through, you still
Yeah, because you know, in life, everyone goes through trials and tribulation.
Right, for sure.
You know, that's what makes your story. You know what I'm saying? Even with me, I go through trials and tribulations. I just deal with them sometimes more better than others. But everyone has trials and tribulations.
sure.
When life gives you lemon, you better go make lemonade. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying? You
right.
better go open up a lemonade stand.
Facts.
So a lot of people don't have that mentality and don't think like that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You hit a speed bump, you gotta keep going. You
Right.
know, so that's the
Right.
mentality you have, and you know, you gonna get ahead.
And what's the 3 degrees you got again? I know you mentioned UConn, business degree. in
Yeah, I
UConn.
got a business degree, I got an accounting degree, and I got a master's.
Yo, we got.
I would've picked Jay-Z
No,
too,
we
by
got.
the way.
We got to clap that up.
I definitely
We got to
pick
clap
Hov.
that up. We got to clap
That's
that
a
up.
fact though.
We got to clap that
That's a
up.
fact,
We
though.
got to clap that
Salute,
up.
salute.
We got to clap that up. That's great, man. All right, so before we get into, is she prepared for these bars? Like,
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
definitely,
she
definitely,
prepared. Okay, so
definitely.
before.
So by the way, I've been seeing I think even prior to you, I just I've seen her around.
Yeah.
I've seen her doing a thing. There's not a lot of young talent that's still keeping and staying young. There's a lot of this. I want to be older. I need to look older. I got to do whatever. I want to say from what I've seen coming from Nasia Bella, just off of, again, I'm trying to stay tapped in just as much as you, but I got people around me too to try to keep me to the streets. Original, authentic, and great sounding. And I would encourage to keep that look, keep that sound, keep your authenticity, keep your youngness, and keep it like just preserve that. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes a long way, even with the older crowds. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Nasia Bella, man. We glad to have you in the building too as well.
How you doing, young lady?
And hold on, before I start, we was talking all that label talk and all that. If I was to start with anyone, it'd be her right here. The future. It don't get no better than that. She on her grind. You know what I'm saying? Her future's bright. She could only go up from there. That's why I tell her every day, stay focused. The sky's is the limit. Don't follow no friends. Leaders lead by example. Bosses make boss moves. I tell her that, and she sees that. She come out. She been outside with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's really the BDM princess. She outside with us. So she sees that. You know what I'm saying? Like before she was little, like, she's blossomed into a beautiful young lady. And, I'm proud of her. You know what I'm saying? Because, the sky's the limit for her.
For
so.
sure.
Right. How you doing, young lady? Now, you could I didn't want to say this on the mic, but you could just take the stem and just raise it up.
Try to bring her in closer to you
the
a
stem.
little bit.
Yeah, the stem, raise it up a little bit. Yeah.
And bring her closer so she can get in the shot.
Yeah, she could get in the shot. Come on.
Yeah, bring
Come on, young lady. How you doing?
Smitty, what's your sign?
Watch that.
Oh, I'm a Gemini.
Copy.
big Gemini.
Yeah, I'm Gemini.
Copy.
I'm a Taurus, man. I'm a Taurus, man. I'm a Taurus.
June 9th. Say that.
My mom's is a Gemini. My sister's the 18th. I'm the 19th.
Heavy.
My mom's is the 20th. My
We keep
dad
that
is
Gemini
the
tag
13th.
on. We keep that shit tagged on
yeah,
us.
real
We keep
Gemini.
it tagged on us. We keep it tagged up. You heard? For sure.
Yeah, you can lift it up more. Yeah, okay. How you doing, young lady?
Good.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're about to get into some bars. You want to do a cappella? You want to beat? What you want to do?
I could do it acapella.
And before we go, let me
Okay.
just tell y'all, this history in the making.
Right.
Like, you know those type. This history in the making.
Right.
You know those footages you see and back in the days. This Nasia Bella in her early days.
Yeah.
So
Right.
remember when y'all look back at this.
Is
and-
this the first freestyle she doing on
Oh
the
no,
platform?
she been working.
Okay.
She been working.
I just want to know if we was getting an exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, he was saying
Okay.
on a platform. He was saying, is this
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first platform officially?
Well, she did 8 bars.
Okay.
Where,
Okay.
Heineken.
She did 8 bars. Shout out Heineken
Esso.
and Esso.
Out to God.
Yeah.
And she got an EP that she about to drop. So this is as far as interview, like, no, she been working.
Okay.
We gonna bring her up. We
Okay.
gonna have
So
her up
She
next.
work, yeah, she
We'll
need
bring
her
her up
own
next.
interview.
Okay, so right now on the Fix Show, you know what I'm saying? Right now on the Fix Show, okay, Nasia Bella, she's here.
Hello.
BDM Princess,
Hello.
okay? She's about to get into it. You know what it is. We live on the Fix Show, DSN Networks, DaMatrix Studios. Nasia Bella, do what you do best.
Sure it's right? Okay.
Yeah, take your time. We here. Let's go.
I see you looking at the bling when I'm stepping on the scene. I'm a baddie and I'm paid with a great recipe. If you ain't got it like I got it, ain't no sitting next to me. I make them jump. When they hear me on the beat, I'm number 1. Yup, not the 2 or the 3. I'm like a walking money bag. Got them chasing after me. I know I'm young, but I know how to count that money. You a clown, you like it, always looking funny. I'm the GOAT, I'm New York, so you gotta love me. I know they hating when they see me, so they gotta sub me. I know they really wanna beat me, so I'm not worried. I got them vexed, got them busting vessels, can't get on my level, yeah, I'm hot, girl, and my grades are impeccable. I ain't gotta work hard, still gonna be ahead of you. I'm trying to get these dollars so my parents have a better view. Living out in Cali, getting short for where we headed to.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
BDM
And
princess,
this is
you know what I'm
why
saying?
she's the BDM princess.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
How old are you, Nasia?
I'm 15.
15.
Wow.
Heavy.
15
So just
years old.
imagine.
Heavy.
Just imagine, 2-3 years under her belt.
Right.
She about to put out her first EP. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And like I said, we gonna hit all the major platforms.
We
You
gotta
know.
ask this question
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Fix Show. We gotta ask. You know what I'm saying? So don't beat me up later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You write your own rhymes.
definitely.
So you off the top or you a writer? Like okay, okay, that's dope. How long you been writing?
Since I was 9.
Wow,
Yeah, she don't play.
wow.
When
Okay,
you're thinking about dropping an EP,
She have one dropping, you said?
Yeah, she got an EP dropping probably
Roughly. Give her rough.
roughly about early 2025.
February, March.
January.
I just want to make sure we could try to bring her back
No,
right before that.
I'd
Get a little
appreciate
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely appreciate that.
Right. That's super dope.
So
man.
I'm sorry, Trase asked about the writing situation. As a manager, as a person that's going to be helping create and shift her career. At the early age, especially at 15, would you be open, taking out the artist perspective as a manager, would you be open to having writers and having a song and having people involved in creating more of or help build a sound for her?
Yes, that's definitely where it's at because, that's where the bag is.
People get so confused with this whole...
People get it misconstrued and all of that with the ghetto mind thinking.
I think it only comes to rap and hip-hop.
I want to hear this real quick.
Let me tell you, the artists that's getting real money, the big boy money, if you look at Kanye West and all of that, shout out to Consequence, my dude.
Big Queens.
That's who's writing his music, and it's in the credits. So a lot of people, no, you want a hit? I'm going to give you a hit. This hit right here going to sell 20,000, 20 million, They have writers. They have ghost writers and stuff like that. But, I get it, though, because, that kind of takes away from the art of rap. The real art of rap. But, it's a double-edged sword.
But I think that
but I ain't knocking
the art transformed. The art grew.
Yeah. I think that that mindset only applies to real hip-hop music. I don't think it applies to anything outside of you saying you one of the top lyricists or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you come into hip-hop and you like, yo, I'm one of the best, I got bars, and then you say you got a writer, that don't really make sense.
Well, that type, that's a contradiction. When you talking like that, but some artists is when you just keeping and you just dropping music. But if you talking that, I'm the best bar spitter,
this what I said.
I don't respect that. I don't respect that.
Again, but that could go across the board though. If I'm saying that as an R&B artist, as a country artist, this is the biggest record. My shit hard, my shit hot. That's every song I drop is hard. Don't matter who's writing it. Nobody's giving those people that same grief, that same,
I'm not debating that. I'm just...
So if a rapper says, I'm the best, and occasionally I might have somebody give me a verse or two, again, why are we looking at it?
That's part of hip hop. You cannot.
I understand what he's saying.
But that's part of hip hop. You cannot delete that.
Don't play with Trase. Trase hip hop. Stop playing with Trase.
Trase is hip hop.
He 50 years ago hip hop.
Exactly. That's very true. That's very true.
That boy ain't when it first started.
This is yo Smith.
He was outside in the BX with them when they was doing it. When they started
this is why
this nigga was out there with them.
This is why the young generation is not going to be as respected.
No, that's not true.
This is why the young generation is not going to be as respected.
Where the disconnect is, the
Hold on a
disconnect
second.
is the two different brackets, right? Because 25 years, okay, that's one set, right? And then there's another 25 years. You know what I'm saying? It's different eras, it's different times. It evolves with time. So I agree with both of y'all. It's nothing to the younger cats. It's nothing to the older cats. It's just underground rap and hip hop and the original rap that had its time and its lane in this generation.
This is where you're wrong, and you're wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why y'all wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Let's hear this.
No, I'm gonna tell y'all why y'all wrong. You are wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why you wrong. Okay? Because we're not talking about any of that. What I just said to Smitty was, if you are an artist, whether you're a female or a male rapper, and you come into this industry talking shit like you the best lyricist in the world, and then you talk about you got writers, that's where the contradiction comes in. But if you come into this industry not saying that, and nobody knows that.
Hold on, Chase.
He right though. He right.
I let y'all talk.
You can't do that.
I let y'all talk.
Nah, go ahead.
I let y'all talk.
Hold
on.
Say you're a lyricist.
Hold on. No, hold on. But you come into this industry humble, not talking that shit, and you got writers, cool, it's not going to be used against you. But it's not going to be, it don't matter if you R&B, hip-hop or not.
If somebody comes in and say they the best, they make the best music right now, that downplays their artistry.
We're not talking about the best music. You're not hearing me.
Your man,
if you come,
your man Beanie Sigel calling me right now. I should pick up.
If you come into the industry saying you are the top lyricist and you got bars and nobody can fuck with you, but then you got a writer, you contradicting yourself. I'm sorry.
So look, if I walk in the kitchen, I'm the best chef, and then you next to me say, hey, that right there could use a little bit of extra salt. You throw some salt in my pot. Now I'm not the best chef no more because you threw some salt in my shit? Come on, bro, we cook it, and I'm still better than you. So if you threw some seasoning in my shit, don't matter. Thank you for the help, but bro, that don't stop me from being the best. No, I'm comparing because if I write and you threw me a verse.
What he said, though, you gotta listen clearly to what he said.
They not
listen
listening.
to understand, not to respond. Hold on.
I hear you, though.
No, hold on. Listen to understand, not to respond. I'll be telling my daughter that. Listen, what he said is if an artist is claiming they're the best lyricist.
Exactly. I heard
claiming they're the best lyricist and doing this and that, and it has a writer, that contradicts it.
I understand that.
So that is a straight up lie. So that part, what he said, is
Smitty,
true.
let me ask you a question.
You know what I'm saying?
If, again, when does that writer come into play? Like, if I was already, like Drake, he was already ill before he came in, right? He was a great artist before he came in the game. Yeah. He already had mixtapes. He already had songs that were considered to be legendary, right? Now you come in the game and now you're working with people that can take your game to another level. Why is that discrediting you from before you even had those people? I'm gonna
tell you why.
Because hip hop was built on, originality.
I was original when I got here.
Yeah, but
Smitty, the most
I was original when I got here.
The most important word that a lot of these people don't understand in hip hop is perception.
Why is that, Trase?
I just said it, and he just reevaluated what I just said.
You highlighted the words, let's hear it.
You come into this industry talking shit, saying you the best, you got bars, nobody can mess with you. I don't
right
got
now
nobody.
I am.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right now I am.
That's the perception that you put out. Hold on.
Exactly.
That's the perception you put out. But then you got a writer writing your stuff.
When I come in the game,
contradicting
5
yourself.
years later, 10 years later,
yourself.
I got a writer now 5 years in the game.
Smitty,
10
as
years
long
in
as
the
you
game.
understand me, I'm good.
No, but we not. See, again, I think, you're using the words to try to, I'm not listening to respond. Believe me, I'm very much a fan of listening to hear. So I'm going to be clear. If I claim that I am the best before I have any writers, and you agree with me, she agrees with me, they agree with me, why is it now that I am at another level and now y'all looking at me because I got to this level and I brought some people along with me that I'm not the best still?
Because if you the best, you ain't gonna need no writer.
Right.
Again.
Right.
You ain't gonna need.
Was I the best before I had the writer? Was I was I the best? Were you giving me the claim that I was the best?
What is the reason you gonna need the writer?
The elevate. If I do hip hop,
but if you're the best, no one's better than you.
I'm not. Hold on. But why is that? Why is receiving some? Why is receiving?
Today,
hold on. Why is receiving something now? I'm diminishing. Why am I not still the best? Because he threw some salt in my shit.
But if you're the best, who are you getting your lyrics from? They are the best then. To be able to give you being the best.
You just
please zoom in on his face, ladies and gentlemen.
You're not zooming in on anything. What you really gonna zoom in on these words? If you come in the best, you're automatically the best. You cannot be diminished if you get or do something else. It's just simple as that for me.
What I think that you're trying to say, and I'm trying to help you with it, is talking about what we just said. If you come into this game saying that you the best and nobody can fuck with you, and you the top lyricist, the top whatever, right? And you got hits, you make millions, whatever, you on the charts. Now, if you plan on bringing in writers, as a person who already put out a certain perception out into the world, you have to let the world know ahead of time so the world could be following you step by step, saying, look, you know what? I already did what I did. I'm the best, but now it's time for me to open up my doors to work with other people, and you do it correctly so that way you can put out a different perception, and it won't affect your last one. But if you do it just to do it, they're going to say you're contradicting yourself. So it's how you do things in this industry. Am I right or wrong, Smitty?
Nah, that's true. It is how you know what I'm saying.
Again, I mean,
shout out to Sketch too, man.
Perception is perception, and I'm gonna give you that. And I'm just gonna let it be known. That's we did. But again, man, I hope that you have the time to work with some of these artists that we arguing about and be great. I hope Nation Bella goes on to be a superstar.
Oh, this is greatness right here.
No, I know he's sitting amongst it right now.
It's money in the bank right here.
Let's what can we look forward to for 2025 for Smitty?
2025, you could look forward to constant elevation because that's all I'm about. Right. No stagnant. I'm always moving. Every day I'm on my grind. Tomorrow I'm on the plane. I'm shooting to Columbus, Ohio. I got a couple of artists out there, that I'm going to check. The week after that, I'm shooting out to Miami, Rolling Loud. I'm gonna be out there, and the week after that, I'm gonna be in Cali. So the next 3 weeks, I'm on my grind, and just I'm on my
Closing
grind.
the year out right.
Every day, I'm on my grind. You know what I'm saying? Every day, I'm trying to hit a home run. With me, you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Right.
Because, I got my own bag. I ain't looking for nobody to do nothing for me. I move on my own time. When you in your own lane, you move at your own speed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a leader. I'm a boss. I don't wait on nobody. So, I feel like, that label might be on the way.
Right, man.
I feel like I did everything I needed to do. I'm going to use my resources, get this label. I'm going to invest and put my own money up and invest in artists that I feel are worth me investing in. I'm going to take them on these major platforms. I'm going to roll that dice, and I'm going to make $1 million. Where's the camera? Right here?
Yeah, right there.
That's you.
I'm going to roll that dice, and I'm going to make $1 million.
Let's
Might
clap
make
it up for that,
another
man.
one.
Let's clap it up for that, man. Let's clap it up for that.
25 Big Millies.
Yeah.
So before we, move forward or exit,
Y'all
head
want
out.
me freestyle?
Yeah, you got some? Nah, for me, I'm really big on entrepreneurship and
Big,
motivational stuff. That's really what I'm about. I just want you to be able to say something motivational to the young cat, whether it was a young you back in the day, something that you learned from, and how to be going forward and how to grow and develop.
I would say, to the young me, the things I would say is, just stay focused, Don't chase nothing. Just go with anything that your energy attracts, Don't chase nothing. Don't chase money. Don't chase nothing. Be passionate about your dreams, and everything else will fall into place, And friends, keep the right friends around. Don't call everyone your friend. You know what I'm saying? Keep people as associates. Keep people where they need to be. Don't give your energy out to everyone. Because right now, a lot of people can't reach me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't get this energy. So, and just be a leader. You know what I'm saying? Leaders lead by example. Bosses make boss moves, Make your name ring across the world. It's bigger than the block. You got to get off the block. Some dudes is just stuck on the block. You got to leave the block. It's a big world out here. You ain't making money here, go to Europe, make some money. Go to Canada, make some money. You know what I'm saying? This world, you can't get paid in the earth this big, you worthless, kid. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah, just stay focused and, make your own lane. Don't be a bandwagoner. You know what I'm saying? Get in your bag, get in your zone. Sometimes, you got to be, you seek happiness. A lot of people seek happiness from others. You got to seek happiness from within. You know what I'm saying? Once you seek happiness from within and you don't really care about others and all of that, you good.
Yo, man, we appreciate the gems. We appreciate the time. Naja, we appreciate you coming out. You know what I'm saying? That's our time, New York City. You know what I'm saying? And I can't even say enough. You know the amount of respect I have for you. You know what I'm saying? That we have for you. You know what I'm saying? And this was really.
And hold on. Let me give Trase your flowers because you gave me my flowers. I watch Trase grind. Trase is a dude that, like me. He like me on his field. And I wouldn't even just call him a DJ. He a entrepreneur. He a grinder. He got it out the mud. I seen you get it out the mud, doing different parties, doing different venues. You in Lower East Side, and I called you and I hit you up a couple of times. I even comment on your post. I respect that. I respect the person that get it from the mud. I don't respect no one that, they see, yo, Smitty, you want to jump on my bandwagon. No, get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? And you got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? That, now you on Hot 90. I remember telling you, like, yo, bro, you need to be on Hot 97. Why you not on Hot 97? And look, now you on Hot 97. Right. So only constant elevation. Plan, prepare, and you execute it. Not too many people do that out here. You know what I'm saying? That, so, salute to you, give you your flowers as well.
I appreciate that, man. Coming from you, that means a lot, man. Salute. Thank you, man. Really quick, before we get out of here, please let people know where they can find you, where they can find her. Give the Instagrams out. You know what I'm saying?
BDM,
any shout-outs?
Yeah. Smith BDM CEO, SMIT BDM CEO. And, you want to hit me, you could hit me on Instagram. You could DM me or send an email, Smith BDM CEO. Just add the 1@gmail.com. I'm going to let Nasia,
Y'all can follow me at Nasia_Bella, NASIA_BELLA.
Nice.
And just shout out to anyone just repping, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, like I see, you know, every day I'm getting DMs, you know, whether it's the memes I post, you know, people saying I motivate them, or it's the homies in the streets, you know what I'm saying? When I pull up, yo, Smitty, I see you, and you know, I keep it. You see me, I'm in the slacks and shirt, and I still go on the block. So I'm trying to, you know, change the narrative. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think being gangsters posted up on the block. Nah, go get some money. You know what I'm saying? You see me, go get some money. You know, so. Yeah, salute to everyone. BDM, it's the movement.
Appreciate it. And you know, we can't end the show without you saying your motto, your catchphrase, your you know what I'm saying?
Let the whole Fix Show team know.
You know what it is, man. Shout out to the Fix Show, man. It's New York Smitty, and talk is definitely cheap.
Hello.
It's getting expensive now. It's starting to get expensive.
Right,
but yeah,
right,
talk
man.
is cheap.
Right, man.
It's definitely starting to get expensive.
Right, man. So this is Trase.
Big Prez.
Chase Sims.
Yeah, man, we are the Fix Show on the DSN network. We appreciate y'all. Next week, we got the homie Graph in the building. So please stay tuned to that. We gonna end the year off right with a lot of big guests on the show, man. Shout out to our engineer. You know what I'm saying? We out.
Thotty, what's up, man?
You are now tuned in to
all
the
of y'all
Fix
that was
Show.
locked in. Smitty, you know what it is. Support the movement, baby.